Seemed like Curtis Jones was also sort of dropping back to, do a double pivot a little bit to support Gomez in that. It feels like that they readjusted how the midfield was approaching the game.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Are you saying that it should be a red card because other fouls that have been committed this season that were less dangerous have gotten red cards? Or you think that should always and has always been a red card offense?
I hate to keep bringing this up, but it's like, what is the point of VAR if they're not able to apply the consistency in an impartial manner?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to American LFC, a podcast with two American brothers talking about Liverpool Football Club. This week, we're talking about Bournemouth, who just played this weekend. Eli, my brother, how are you feeling?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. 3 points in the bank, 5 points, top of the league. Can't complain. How did you feel about the game this weekend?
I thought it was great. All credit to Bournemouth. They came out with a plan. They made it a tough away fixture, but in the end, we prevailed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit a great point, which it does feel like the first couple minutes, 5, 8, 10, felt like there's a little bit of jeopardy in there for us, and it could be a tough day at the office. Bournemouth clearly came out guns blazing, has been their sort of plan for the sort of last couple of games. Seemed like they kind of bopped us on the nose a little bit. I mean, they had opportunities, they had chances, but they just didn't put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. I heard early on in commentary that their manager played for Marcelo Bielsa. So the way Bournemouth played makes a lot of sense when you realize there's that connection.
Yeah, totally. They're super on the front foot, really, really press heavy. They were pressing us in the back. Like the first couple of minutes, we couldn't get out of their half. The weather definitely was not helping us, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
We had the wind at our back, and it was pretty difficult. You could see that we were trying to figure out what we could get away with. You know what I mean? But every time that you didn't get away with it, it's a loss of possession. You turn over, they have the ball, I think they had some pretty interesting set pieces early on. Like, they had 3 corners, like, right away in the first, 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And they were all interestingly taken,
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was... I definitely was like, ooh, yikes, hopefully we can get through this one. But as soon as the first 10 minutes went by, I sort of didn't feel too much jeopardy. You?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment. We definitely grew into the game, and then second half things really kicked on,
Yeah, but it's interesting. I think that there's quite a lot to learn from the first half, which is that McAllister had a great game, but he also had a great first half, it felt like. But it did seem that whatever we were doing wasn't working. Right, it wasn't clicking. We were a little bit reckless with the ball. It felt like we had it lined up where Darwin was on the left wing and Jota was going through the middle and Diaz was out on the right, and it didn't seem like that was clicking all that well. And it might literally just be down to the weather conditions, because anytime that they tried to whip in a cross to Jota or even a crossfield ball into the channel for Nunez, there was usually just a little overhit, which is, makes your life difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Either that, or it was either the weather, or, Bournemouth came out with a strong game plan and really just we had to adjust on the fly, I think.
Yeah.
So.
So I don't know. Thinking back, there wasn't much to talk about, I think, in the first half other than the potential red card against Luis Diaz.
Right. Yeah, how did you feel about it?
I mean, I thought it should have been a red on the field, let alone VAR saying, hey, that's a clear and obvious error, that needs to be a red card. Mm-hmm. Because it's not that much different than what Curtis Jones got a red card for.
Right. So let me ask you this. Are you saying that it should be a red card because other fouls that have been committed this season that were less dangerous have gotten red cards? Or you think that that should always and has always been a red card offense?
Yes, and
Uh-huh.
so I think for me that is a red card offense and always should be a red card offense because you're putting the player in danger. I mean, a little bit more pressure and that's a serious injury, you know. And then it's also other less serious fouls have been red cards this season. So
Right.
for me, it's both, right? That yes, that always should be a red card. I still maintain Curtis's should not.
But the offenses are similar. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, like, just because Curtis got the ball and his foot rolled over on it, he's still putting pressure on Basuma's shin bone, which is attached to the ground through his ankle.
Right.
So
Fair enough.
It's
But
it's
in this
interesting.
game, the player did not get the ball and he was late.
I agree with you. It's interesting. Here's how I feel about it is I don't think any of them should be red cards. Like Gusto's, which is the same thing, his foot rolls over the ball and goes through. I don't think that this one should have been a red card, and I don't think that Curtis Jones should be a red card. I think it's about intention, right? Like the thing is like it's about where you're putting players in danger and the intention behind it. And the thing is that we're talking about milliseconds of the most coordinated athletes playing at the fastest pace that this game humanly allows, and that things like that are going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, also, I would say that McAllister's red card against Bournemouth the first time we played them is also this call, which is why I'm like, well, we've got several egregious versions of this where we did get red cards, and I don't think that those should have been red cards, so it makes me feel like I don't think that this one should have been a red card either. I will say it's absolutely wild. It wasn't even a foul at all.
Right.
And he did not get a yellow card. I'm more than happy than Curtis Jones getting a yellow card for reckless play going over the ball. More than happy for Alexis McAllister to get a yellow card because he's leading with his studs into a player even though he gets the ball. Okay, sure. But these are red cards on the field where they're getting... Curtis Jones got a 3-game ban.
Right.
Straight red.
Yeah.
So,
and this wasn't even a foul.
My problem isn't the foul; it's the consistency of the adjudication of the offense.
Right. And I hate to keep bringing this up, but it's like, what is the point of VAR if they're not able to apply the consistency in an impartial manner?
So I think the problem is that the way that the rule is set up, which is clear and obvious error about the on-field call, which is the call that happened this weekend about Kluivert going through Diaz was not given as a call, which means that it can't be a clear and obvious error to be overturned. There was no call.
Well, but VAR gave Crystal Palace a penalty for something the ref didn't call on the field.
Yeah, that's true, but that was also wild shenanigans. You know what I mean? That it came so like every week that we do a podcast, we're talking about a call that has been missed or overturned or somehow done something by VAR, right? VAR has proven to be garbage and it doesn't work. Yeah. And the thing is, we're always talking about it, and it's not just us. It's not just our set of fans. It's the entire league is talking about it every week. There's always something. So, experiment tested, failed.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean?
All right, anyway, on to the second half. On to the good stuff.
What changed, Coach?
Well, I think obviously playing into the wind had an impact because it's knocking that ball down.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think, when were the first subs made?
Well, we scored 3 minutes into the second half.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, that's just like the importance of the halftime team talk and being able to adjust your tactical plan and really motivate your players, right? Because they do come out of the blocks and, hit them right away.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think the weather helped quite a bit, but I do also think that there was like a change in shape. It felt like, which is it seemed like Joe Gomez started to do what Trent does, which is that he was like playing the inverted left back into. He was starting to push into the midfield next to McAllister, and Darwin Nunez went through the middle, and Jota went out to the left, which obviously helped because it allowed Jota to do overlaps and come in behind to like drop deep to do the ticky-tacky football, which is exactly how we got the first goal.
Yeah.
It seemed like Curtis Jones was also sort of dropping back to, do a double pivot a little bit to support Gomez in that. It feels like that they readjusted how the midfield was approaching the game.
Yeah.
Is what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Which obviously pays huge dividends because we completely controlled the rest of the game. Like, there wasn't a moment that I was like, oh no, they're going to... Oh, this is going to be close. It was like the second we scored in the 48th minute, I was like, game, set, match.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. It feels like we got 2 goals, I believe, and then the subs came on. And then we got 2 more goals.
Yeah.
It feels like Klopp has, this particular season, either has the personnel and has always had the ability to do this, but never had the personnel. But now he finally has the personnel. But he seems like he's the best in-game manager, like, on the planet right now.
Right.
Where it's like things will not be going super well. He has a halftime team talk, and then we're just a completely different team.
Right.
It feels like we've had this. We played 21 Premier League games. I feel like 18 times we've come around to be like, well, game of 2 halves. Am I right?
Right.
Always coming from behind. I think the difference so far is, and sorry, I feel like I'm really going off the rails. We haven't spoken in a while, but I had been begging for a long time on this podcast for us to try Joe Gomez as left back, who is a center back by trade. So we have 3 center backs and a right back. And I think we can look at the statistics really quickly to see what it is. But I think it's like clean sheet yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, yesterday. We conceded 1 goal against Fulham, clean sheet to Arsenal before that. We conceded 2 goals against Newcastle, clean sheet before that. 1-1 against Arsenal, 5-1 against West Ham, 0-0 United. So I just bring that up because it's like 5 goals conceded in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, maybe 10. Do you know what I mean? And that was like sort of just quickly looking at stuff. I'd be curious to see how many goals we conceded the first 10 games versus our last 10 games.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just
if you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let us know in the comments.
And Jurgen, if you've been watching, if you're one of our thousands of viewers and you took Nate's idea, like drop us a hint in the comments and let us know. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming that he watches.
Yeah, that's got to be the answer. Is Jurgen's a regular viewer?
Yeah, exactly. How are you feeling? We're sort of, as far as this game, we're getting close to a time to wrap up our perception of this past game, and like, what do you think the overall thoughts are?
Well, for me, the 2 big takeaways are the offense clicking for 4 goals and Connor Bradley at right back.
Okay.
Those to me, and McAllister has really grown into the 6. So for me, those are like the 3 bullet points.
Okay, so what do we do when Trent's back?
I don't know. I mean, it stinks for Connor Bradley, but he's been amazing defensively. I mean, obviously, like excuse me, saw a stat that Trent has like the most passes into the final third in the entire league. So obviously that brings a different dimension to the game. But Connor Bradley's been amazing defensively too.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Man, I'm just like, what does this team look like if it's
All
Joe
healthy.
Gomez left back, Van Dyke, Konate, Connor Bradley, double pivot, McAllister, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Then we play 4 across the front, like so. There's a 4-2-3-1, and we've got Soboslai and Curtis Jones, and then we've got Mo Salah up front with Darwin Nunez dropping in behind him. Like you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm sort of like, what?
Yeah.
What on earth could that be? That would be wild. That would never happen.
It could be there is an old formation that's a 4-2-4. So what you do is you have our Gomez, Van Dyke, Konate, Connor Bradley. Then you've got Trent and McAllister as your midfielders. And then you've got like Diaz, Nunez, Jota, Sala is your front 4, like a flat front 4.
So no Soboslai, no Gravenberch, no Curtis Jones,
tactical subs.
No Harvey Elliott. Yeah, the thing that's, it would be incredible to see that. The thing that would be trouble is that it's just like,
well, you're never going to win the midfield.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to have the ball. Okay, well, what an incredible game to watch.
No kidding.
It feels like it'd probably be worth a rewatch to just see the tweaks that Klopp does in the second half, and with his substitutions. But I think that's about all the time that we have to cover Bournemouth this week. If you guys agree with us or disagree with us, leave a comment below. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what we got wrong. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.